was talking to my parents recently, I know. And they were asking to come visit me in LA, okay? And I don't know about you, but that immediately gave me PTSD to when I used to live at home. Just like, you know when you lived at home, you got a ton of questions like, Lily, did you eat today? Like, no, Mom, I'm just withering away from starvation. No, Lily, it's 9 p.m., keep it down. I couldn't even sneeze past 9. I mean, up until I was 25 years old, I had to ask my parents' permission to paint my room, okay? And they always said no. That's why at 25, I moved out. Yes, I know what you're thinking. I lived at home until I was 25. And I know that probably makes me sound like a socially weird nerd, but I wasn't, okay? I was a normal adult who spent all my time making YouTube videos by myself. Thank you. But, you know, to be honest, it's actually a little unusual for me to be living on my own. You see, usually in Indian culture, you live at home until you get married. It's the ultimate escape room. Something I was always told when I lived with my parents was, when you have your own house, you can do whatever you want. Okay? You know what I mean? So if I wanted to pierce my nose, or get a puppy, or get a tattoo, it was always, when you have your own house, well, guess what? I got my own house. Oh, now my bra's all weird, great. When I was finally free of my parents' house rules, I went through a little bit of a rebellious stage, if I'm honest. Like, the day I moved into my own place, I turned my stairs into a slide. And one day, I thought it would be so much fun to turn my hot tub into a ball pit. Because what better way to prove you're an adult who can live alone than turning your house into a literal playground, am I right? Spoiler alert, the ball pit was a disaster, absolute disaster. I mean, there are still balls everywhere. On the roof, all over my yard. I'm finding balls in places where I didn't even know balls could fit. Okay? I once paid this is a true story. I once paid $1,000 to have my drain unclogged because there were balls stuffed in it. Yeah. It's the only time I've paid someone to remove balls from my house. But aside from that, I don't pay for much, okay, like cleaning. I don't make it easy on myself. I would rather hand wash 200 dishes myself than use a dishwasher. I straight up refuse to use my dishwasher. Because growing up, the dishwasher was seen as something only privileged people use, you know? My parents taught me that the dishwasher is for one thing only: storing bags of chips. Speaking of which, living alone is the best way to remember every horror movie you've ever seen, am I right? Okay? I'm suddenly super aware of how many scenes start with a woman alone hand-washing dishes, and I'm like... Despite all that, though, I feel like I'm still way too trusting of strangers. Like, a murderer could show up at my door holding a bloody knife, but if he says he's from Postmates and it's dinner time, I'm gonna let him in. Like, oh yeah, come in. No, just set the food down over there by those zip ties. Yeah, sorry. And I have a security system, but here's the thing. Sometimes I worry that the serial killer outside my window, they might not know that I have a security system, okay? So I'll just walk around to different windows and pretend I'm typing into keypads that don't exist, okay? I straight up walk around my house, just like, beep, 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 beep. Yeah, oh, yeah, this room is super secure, just in case you're watching outside. And the attachment I have to everything in my house makes it so much more stressful when people come over. Like, when my parents visit and they criticize any aspect of my house, it's like they're criticizing me. Okay? Last time they visited, I literally yelled the words, "Stop! My house can hear you!" And then Alexa was like, "Oh, I don't mind." Ultimately, I'm really glad I got my own place. Okay, and I just want to be serious for a second. I think it's so important to have some independence as an adult. Do you not think? Like, parents, you need to let your kids live alone, especially Indian parents. I know some of you have grown kids and you're like, "Oh, well, my kids are useless." You made us that way. Let your kids, yes. Do you hear that? It's every parent scolding me right now. No, you gotta let your kids figure things out on their own. I mean, even if they end up completely destroying their plumbing with ball pit balls, they'll be fine, okay? Because the truth is, if you live with your parents until your wedding day and then immediately move in with your spouse, you'll never get a chance to become your own person. Okay? But also, maybe you don't even need a spouse. That's what all single people say. I remember my parents always saying, you can get a dog when you get married. And my only thought to that was, why would I want 2 dogs?